Dan and Corey here, welcoming you into Libservative.
The great fundamental issue now before our people. We, the people, cannot turn back.
Yeah, welcome in. So good to be back. Another rousing rendition of Libservative, intellectual idiots fostering political and cultural literacy. Bell the Bodysnatcher is on another quest that we don't know where the hell he is.
He's just full of side quests, man. He's just constantly
he is the man. He is the man. He's a living video game. If you were a video game character, he would probably be an elf
or a dwarf.
No, not pudgy enough to be a dwarf. Not pudgy enough to be a dwarf. He, as always, is Corey Walsh.
He's Dad Griffin.
This is Libservative, and Corey.
I'm back.
Corey's back from his trip to
the saddle again.
To the not to say that all progressive places are hellholes, but he actually came back from a progressive hellhole in Portland, Oregon.
Not as much. You know, it seems like they kind of sectioned it off, corded it off a bit. NIMBY is a word that isn't tossed around there often, but clearly implied. Whereas, you know, I've been going there for a summer the last 3 years. And last summer and the summer before, there was a lot of homeless people like everywhere. So there's a river that cuts through Portland, right? And there's like downtown on one side. And then on the other side, like it's like a heavy populated midtown. You know, like there's still buildings and stuff like that, but a lot of like apartments and houses and like a suburban sort of mesh type thing. The last 2 years I was out there, a lot of the homeless were also out there as well as downtown. But this year, I didn't see virtually. There was some like homeless, like, you know, bumbling down the road and stuff like that. But there weren't nearly as much there as there was like downtown. So I feel like they kind of, I don't know how they did it. I feel like it'd be hurting cats, but they kind of like
have to stay woke.
Shoot them all across the river. But there's still a lot of them. You know, we flew into Seattle and then took the train from Seattle to Portland, which, little hack if anyone's listening and you plan on making a trip like that. Seattle's plane ticket's typically half the price of what like a Portland plane ticket is. And then a train ticket's then a train ticket's 3 hours.
Are you gonna gloss over what you just described, which is like this idea that progressives, not necessarily all liberals, but progressives do this thing where they go, we care about the homeless,
just not in my yard. Yeah, that's
not on my street. Send them across the river.
Which honestly, in reality, pretty like we're not sitting on a high horse saying that. Like we're kind of in the same boat. Like I care.
They insult us in an attempt to gaslight us, and we will not stand for it.
Just don't virtue signal the shit, right? Like, no, I care about the homeless. I don't want them in my yard. That's fair. That should be a reasonable take.
It's not. It never is. Because then you have like the Charlie Kirk types that walk around and they're like, do you think that the homeless should be housed? And they go, oh yeah, absolutely. Would you let them live in your house? No,
that's what the government's for.
It's right, exactly. Yeah, the government should take care of that. Yeah, not me.
No,
I should.
But it's finally. It seemed like the reality check happening there.
The right wingers do really kind of act like that's an own, and in some ways it is. I kind of get it.
It's a game of a little bit of an. They all try to own each other. Right.
Speaking of which,
then the left will do the same thing, right? And they'll go, so you believe all abortion shouldn't be allowed? Yes. So if your daughter was raped by your brother and they have a baby, you think that baby should be born? It's like,
and that,
that is a reasonable answer. No, I don't.
Well, no. Well, the better answer would be like, why the fuck would my son be raping my daughter? Like, we have a good Christian household. That would never happen.
Right.
In my oh.
Yeah, basically get what I'm saying, right? It's like they both are like trying to think they're owning each other, but it's because both sides virtue signal so much, and that's not a liberal. It's not exclusively to the liberals. The conservatives do it all the time. The whole thing, protect a life. That's virtue signaling, just like how the Democrats do it about like, yeah, you get it. You get what I mean.
Black Lives Matter. Well, actually, all lives matter. Both true statements, but yet somehow gets people really mad at each other.
Yeah, it's because everyone's out there just virtue signaling. My challenge to everyone, again, I know I've given this challenge before, is go fucking give $1 to a homeless man and then don't post about it on social media.
Yeah. Or take a picture.
Yeah, right. Libservative Podcast is found on all social media and podcast platforms. Our website is libservativeshow.com. We can be found at Libservative on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Instagram and Twitter at LibservativePod. Our TikTok videos can be found at Libservative Podcast, and you can reach out directly at libservativepod@gmail.com. Subscribe today. I got to get that in before I forgot to say it. And absolutely, yeah, subscribe today. Like I was just telling Dan before we hopped on the show, we're getting a lot more unique listeners. If you are listening to the show, just do a big favor. You can do it anonymously. You don't even have to leave a comment. Just rate the show. It helps boost the algorithms.
And tell your people. Tell them all to do the same thing. What do we have in front of us tonight, Corey? Obviously, we are in the middle of the Democratic National Convention as we record this. It might even be over. I would say it ends tomorrow night, so it'll be over by the time a lot of people listen to this, but that's okay. I expect to kind of see more of the same as we've seen the first couple of nights as we get ready for night 3.
Oh, but also still visiting Portland and Oregon, 100%. Do it, Dan. I'm trying to convince you to go.
There are many more things that I would like to see.
Well, you can go there once. You don't have to go there all the time. It's not like you're locked in. Like you could just buy a anywhere if you like it, though. Anyways,
we got a bunch of other stuff too. Something about price gouging.
Cut your wind. I'm sorry.
No, it's all right.
I keep doing it. I'm sorry. I'm rusty. I haven't done this in a week.
Me neither. By the way, we do apologize for that. We had planned to have some content for last week. It fell through because Corey works with some weird people, and.
So do you, because the other plan fell through.
Yeah, I guess that's kind of true. But yeah, that's not something we do very often. We don't often miss a week. We usually post something, even if we're taking a week off. But yeah, so don't expect that to happen very often. So we got the DNC going on right now, Monday through Thursday. We've got something about price gouging. People are really mad about Kamala for price gouging, and some of it is real and some of it is kind of silly. Although I will say it's really interesting that right after people get mad at conservatives for calling Kamala a communist, and rightfully so, because she's a fucking corporatist. She's not a communist. She starts talking about price gouging and price controls. So maybe if you don't want to be called a communist, don't start talking about price controls.
Dude, she's not even, again, I don't like Kamala. I've given the reason before. You have to go back and listen to the other.
It's because you're racist. That's why.
No, it's because she locked up
Say it.
drug abusers, and that is something that directly affected my family. Like visiting your mom in jail ain't fun, and I don't know if you ever had to do that, especially for a nonviolent crime that was fabricated by the state because she had an issue with drug abuse. But rehab and stuff like that would have, she ultimately came around. She was like, yeah, this shit sucks. My family's back together. We had a pretty decent childhood. There's just a chunk of about a third where everything was a little fucky. But that whole chunk of that third probably wouldn't have been so fucky if there wasn't people like Kamala Harris in charge that were locking them up for free labor. And instead actually just tried to help them with some rehab. So yeah, that's why I don't like her. But she ain't no fucking communist. She doesn't want to try to make the state own the utilities.
Corey, that story, I'm offended by that because you as a privileged white man have no right to try and gain sympathy from this audience.
For having a broken home for a spell.
You are privileged and you need to own that. You need to go take a fucking dinner. You need to go do a dinner
Go take a
session with
lap.
Robin DiAngelo.
Go take a lap.
They insult us in an attempt to gaslight us, and we will not stand for it.
No, my white privilege is basically just blending in. That's as far as my white privilege ever went. I just blended in.
That's
Just
pretty much
like
it.
I didn't stand out. You know what I mean? Like a minority who is a different cut. Everyone's like, he doesn't look like us. So like they beat him up and stuff like that. But I just blended in. Just tried to stay out of the way.
Bright Nice in the house. What's up, brother? What else do we have in front of us? Oh, I mean, the thing I wanted to start with is that we have reached an incredible milestone as a show, Corey, as we continue to grow. And that is that we officially have a stalker of our show.
God,
It's
much.
It's not the best kind of stalker. It's a very vindictive and vengeful type of stalker. But if you're ever in our Facebook comments, you will. I'm not going to name any names. You're going to know who this person is immediately. The kind that wants to get us to argue policy on fucking Facebook comments, like a bunch of plebs. You didn't want to have this conversation, did you? You didn't want.
No,
you didn't want
I'm
to
here
this
for
at
it.
all.
I just love how right now you're giving him the satisfaction. When
We
he
have to
goes
stay
off on a
woke.
tangent on Facebook, he gives you the satisfaction.
No, no. I'm saying, Corey, I'm saying it because it's great. We have a stalker. Like that's a milestone. That's fantastic. This is good. This is good
The
stuff.
laziest stalker I've ever seen. Just the algorithms from his engagement makes it pop up, and he's like, "God damn it!"
He's never once listened to the show.
No, but I just
Damn it! I gave away the. Well, then again, I guess I shouldn't assume his gender. I guess, or yeah, okay.
I feel like you both live in each other's heads rent free way too much, and I'm here for it. I love it. It's great.
I'm offended by that.
They insult us in an attempt to gaslight us, and we will not stand for it.
I think it's a very rude introduction.
I just wanted to share with the people our progress. I think I
mean, it's obviously we're doing something. We got someone actually engaged. You know what I mean? Like he hate follows us.
And he would hate
so
fuck
much.
both of our skulls too, man.
I don't know. I try to be nice to him, and just
Very
now.
vindictive. Yeah, but you're guilty by association.
Yeah.
I
guess-
will openly admit that I am the asshole on this show. I'm totally okay with that. That doesn't bother me. You're the nice guy.
Maybe I should deal with the PR.
You're the dirty lib of this show, and I'm the Donald Trump of this show. This is how this works. This is okay. It works well for us.
I'm a really shitty lib. Really bad. I just admitted to the idea that I don't want homeless people in my yard.
Oh,
It's like taboo, dude.
You think you just fell out of a coconut tree?
Nah, the libs would RFK me if they heard me trying to say I was one of them.
You haven't watched any of the DNC yet, have you?
I didn't.
Not one ounce of it. You want me to give you a rundown? You want me to give you a
This is
rundown?
what
and then you
so
can...
real quick, this is what I know.
Okay, sweet.
I guess there were some
So it's
protests. There was like outside. I know that the Michigan non-committed protest group is trying to separate themselves from the other ones because they're not there to cause a ruckus. They want to actually talk to caucus members and actually try to make real change through conversation. I know that Matt Walsh was there.
That is the funniest thing Matt Walsh has ever done. We will play the video for you. Stay tuned for that. Matt Walsh is a horrible human being and generally unfunny, but this is one of the funniest things he's ever done. This was good. I approve of what he did.
And like me explaining to my wife, who's like, according to him, especially as a feminist, because she's a working woman.
Oh,
and
yeah,
she's a go-getter who she just got her certificate. Now she's continuing her schooling for a bachelor degree. So props to her. Give her a little applause.
Yeah, she's if she hadn't already had a kid, she would have already lost her value.
Right. So. And
Andrew
she knows
Tate
who Matt
kinda
Walsh
shit.
is. She knows who Matt Walsh is. And So when I was trying to explain to her like how I don't like how I share the same name with him, how none of mine, neither mine or his values don't align pretty much on anything, and how he hates joy and all of these things.
Jeff wants to defund the police, by the way. He doesn't. Jeff's a good.
Defund them? No, I want them to be more fun.
Jeff's a good buddy of mine. He's fucking kidding.
I know. I said I want them to be more fun. Oh, it's fucking stupid.
Anyway, what were you saying?
But but me trying to explain to her how I thought that this was fucking hilarious from a person that I know she would absolutely hate was the same type of way you were just saying it. It's kind of funny. Like, no, listen, no, like, guy sucks.
She's completely
funny as hell.
It's just a good thing she had a kid, Corey, or she would have completely lost her value by now.
I know. Never mind being a teacher, like raising kids. That reminds me. You said you don't have a things learned.
We have to stay woke.
That's what I learned. The vice president taught me that. Woke.
No, so currently in our country right now, and it's happened since the 50s. No, 60s. There's been a major like shift in the latency of when you're supposed to potty train your child. We're like in the 50s and 60s and 40s, they'd use cloth diapers, and like everyone was potty training their kids like between like 12 to like 18 months. But now parents are typically doing it around like 2 to 3 years because that's what.
Let me guess. Can I just guess? It's lazy parents because disposable diapers are so much easier.
Nope. But
damn it,
you are on the right track with disposable diapers. So in the 60s, Procter and Gamble came out with the disposable diaper, and they realized they needed to have a market and a sustainable market. So that's when the push for let your kids potty train when they're ready and when they feel easy about it and when they're physically ready. And they push it up to like 2 to 3 years to where we're at now. We're at average in America. It's like between 2 to 3 years when a kid is getting potty trained.
It was a marketing ploy. That would have been my second guess.
But they used pediatricians and stuff. There was this doctor, it was either Brazel or something like that. But he is on paper saying how like 18 months is probably the best time to start potty training your kid. And then after 61, when he got fucking paid by a big diaper, Procter and Gamble, that's when he started saying 2 to 3 years.
That's interesting.
Yeah, so I know this because the only reason I know this is because
I don't know why that's interesting. It's weird that it's
just big. Like that's why you hear me always bitch about big corporations and big government and how they both fucking suck equally. This is just big, like
they work together in their suckiness.
Marketing and creating propaganda to tell everyone like, no, you can't tell your kids when it's time to potty train. They'll let you know. And kids are a creature of habit. So like if they're in a diaper constantly, they're going to stay in the diaper. And then at 2 or 3 years, when you try to nudge them in doing it, that's why everyone's having an issue with diaper or potty training. Corey was potty trained in like a week and a half. Because
good for you, buddy.
No, little CJ, little Corey. I'm still not potty trained.
I can attest to that.
But yeah, so right now she has to do a presentation at her school for all the parents to tell them to start trying to potty train. Like when your kid comes in at like 1.5 years old, don't send them in diapers, send them in underwear.
Nice.
So that's what their school's doing. And that's how I learned about them. It's pretty wild though. It's pretty wild that the entire ideology of how you're supposed to raise a child was changed by one bomb-ass marketing campaign.
Well, dude, and it expands beyond that, right? Because it's just another example of this whole thing of like trust your doctor. And like I'm not, and I think we've had this conversation briefly before. Like I'm not somebody who hates doctors. Obviously, I think they're very, very important. But doctors and what's the word I'm looking for? Like medical associations can just as easily be captured by money as easily as anything else. And so I've always been of the impression that doctors are great for two things, and we need them for both of these things. One is diagnosing a problem, and the other is fixing it. What they're really shitty at is prevention. Like
the American medical system,
talk to
absolutely.
talk to your general practitioner. They don't know shit about like they'll just say have a healthy diet and exercise. And it's like, okay, yeah, but what does that mean? They don't actually know what a good diet is, particularly some of the older ones that still fucking follow the food pyramid.
Or they would just refer you. They would just refer you to a
dietitian.
A dietitian,
yeah,
to get more money.
Like preventative care in our medical system is absolutely atrocious. It's terrible. And why is that? Because like I know, some people say this sounds
it's the George Carlin thing,
like,
right? It's like they're not paid to make you feel better; they're paid to just keep you alive so they can make more money. Yeah,
there's more money to be made, and if you stay sick, and I don't think like individual doctors are necessarily culpable in this. Like I think most people become doctors because they want to help people. Like there's a genuine virtue behind that, but they get. It all depends on the education. And if the education...
The Bible says money is the root of all evil.
Is it now? I don't think that's true. I don't think money is the root of all evil.
What do you think is power?
Yeah. Power.
Well, power comes with money.
Cash gets you power. Yeah. They kind of go together, don't they?
They insult us in an attempt to gaslight us, and we will not stand for it.
Right. But if you have no power, how do you attain it?
Yeah, usually with money.
Yeah.
Or through climbing the political ladder somehow. But usually you need money for that. So here we are.
I just utterly humiliated you on this show. No need for anonymous face. I almost said his name. No need for anonymous Facebook user now. I'm gonna have to tell him in the next comment. Don't worry.
These idiots.
I got him. I'm just gonna say, ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
Oh, fuck yourself.
See, Elon's here to back me up. Oh man,
it's a little late, Kamala, but it's fine. Better late than never.
So, what do you know about
my wife's periods? What?
What do you know about what took place at the first 2 nights of the Democratic National Convention?
I don't know. I guess just just by guess, it's a bunch of people showing up for the Democratic Party, like a bunch of Swifties show up for a Swiftie concert. Everyone there is going to say they loved it.
Right. Yeah, that's actually really good because what I compare it to, and like the RNC was the same way. It's not any different.
Oh yeah, no, same thing. A Trump campaign, same thing. Someone shows up to a Trump campaign. They're like, dude, it was great. Everyone loved him. And it's like, yeah, no shit. They came there for him.
It's a WWE event. That's what these conventions are. That's what politics is. Just WWE.
Well, no, it's just it's a Youmacon or a Comic-Con. It's a Comic-Con for the Democratic Party.
Oh, you're talking about the convention?
Everyone's walking around. There's going to be speakers in different areas. You go and talk. You ever been to a Comic-Con?
I've been to a con, but not a Comic-Con.
Oh, they're a blast, dude. People wear
been to like a 90s con. I like 90s shit.
Like the protesters there would be the cosplayers at a Comic-Con. They're basically similar. I would treat both of them exactly the same. I would go there. I would get really drunk, listen to some people talk, cheer, boo, get excited, take a couple pictures, go to the bar after, then go home. That's exactly what my DNC trip would be like.
And then tell
I don't even need to go now.
Yeah, I'm walking here.
I don't even need to go now. I already know what would happen.
So when the DNC started on Monday, I was literally, and like this might be TMI for a lot of people, I don't care. I was literally shaving my balls in the bathroom while I was cleaning up while watching the very start of the DNC. That's like the kind of respect that I have for these kinds of events.
I was seriously really wondering what you were doing when the DNC started.
Not a sponsor. But I'm telling you right now, the Manscaped lawnmower is a wonderful fucking tool for getting those ball hairs shaved up nice and.
No, I was out in Portland enjoying the beach, and then I'm like, I wonder what Dan's doing. Like I was like, oh shit! Balls. I said, oh shit! DNC starts. I wonder what Dan's doing.
Shaving my balls. That's what I was doing. That's how much like respect I actually have for these things because they're WWE events.
Wait. So you waited for the DNC to start?
Yeah, I was like, DNC starting. I'm gonna go shave my balls. because they're essentially WWE events. In the case of the Republican National Convention, it literally was because Hulk Hogan was there doing his Hulk Hogan things. But yeah, it's like you said, it's a bunch.
Shaved my balls and.
Yeah, you ready? You do?
No, I haven't. I said I haven't shaved my balls in God knows how long.
That's what I'm saying. Are you due?
No, there is no due date. I abort
okay.
the plan. I don't do that shit no more. The carpet match the drapes, babies. When I stopped shaving my face, I stopped shaving everywhere else.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right.
That's fucking disgusting.
I can see it in your eyes. You're mentally visualizing that.
Your wife's right on the other side of the wall, right? Bring her in here. Let's have a discussion.
Hey, yo, babe. No, I'm just kidding.
So you'll be happy to know that the DNC in true Donald Trump fashion built a wall around the perimeter of the Democratic National Convention to keep the protesters out.
It's NIMBY, man. Like, I like protesters, just not in my backyard.
I fucking hate protesters. I respect people's right to do it. Activists drive me nuts. They make me crazy. They're usually the lowest common denominator.
They're fun to attend.
Can you agree? I was going to say, I think you could agree with that. Most protesters are the lowest common denominator.
I've been to a couple where it's with all my interactions, it's like a mix. Like it's even this also includes like
January 6th.
Not
you were there.
I was not there. Please don't say that. Please
don't say that on YouTube.
I like planes. I like traveling on planes. I like my life. I don't need to be fucking Salem witch trialed into some group. I don't want to be Tulsi Gabbard.
I was gonna say you don't want to be Tulsi Gabbard, do you?
No. I really wasn't there. Please listen. Believe me. I really wasn't there.
God, if I ever want to fuck with Corey, all I have to do is say that. Corey said,
like I'm wearing a Hawaiian shirt, goddamn it. Everyone already thinks I'm a boogaloo boy. It's just it's just the Dad Walsh drip. I got it from my dad. Like
it's just bullshit.
Over here grabbing my collar, like fuck. Man.
Don't say that.
Yeah, you know when I'll know? Next time I fly on a plane.
Yeah.
If I'm on a list.
If you get thrown on the quiet skies list,
you have to find out in the most inconvenient moments. So why can't they just send you a letter? Congratulations.
You've made the quiet skies list, like Tulsi Gabbard. You get the Tulsi Gabbard package.
Just you're in trouble. Or just do it like they do with the fucking warranties for cars.
No, dude, like back in the day, they just fucking send Ed McMahon to your house when you win the sweepstakes. Congratulations.
Or do it like a warranty. Like when you're or not a warranty, but like let's say there's a recall on your car. Have you ever ignored one of those?
Oh yeah, dude. I have one on my car which is now over 10 years. I still have a fucking Takata airbag in my Volkswagen.
Oof.
I get something like 3 times a week. Like you gotta change this. This has been recalled for the last 12 years.
Did they start sending you the pictures yet?
No, but they send me like big packets that I don't open because I don't care.
Oh, so the pictures are probably in those packets because when I finally saw the pictures, I was like, fuck, maybe I should do this. Because, dude, it really does. It comes to the point where they show you graphic images of what could happen to you if you do not fix this problem.
Is it just that they don't want
and
to be
mine
sued
was
that badly?
Mine, it might have been Takata, but I think mine was an airbag thing too. Like
it was probably the Takata airbag. It's like shoot shrapnel in your face.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, what a way to go.
I guess. Like, yeah, my friend Dan, yeah, he's dead.
These idiots.
Got killed by an airbag.
He got bit by an airbag. Speaking of airbags, there were a lot
my
of
grandpa
those.
lost his eye in World War II from shrapnel. Dan got killed from an airbag from shrapnel.
Yeah. And speaking of airbags, there were a lot of those so far at the Democratic National Convention. That was a great segue back to what the fuck we were actually talking about.
Well, no, I just mentioned it.
What do you? Also, okay. So since you haven't watched any of the DNC, I'm gonna have you guess. What do you think? You don't have to get them all, but like, what do you think the top 3 talking points have been from speakers thus far? I think you could probably guess this. If you can, if you can't, I'll be disappointed in you.
So they can't really pivot 180 and talk about things like the border or anything like that, because they would know that they had to put their foot in their mouth, because
There's a little bit of that, but I wouldn't say that's in the top 3. So that's correct.
To say Trump as a whole, I feel like is a scapegoat. Like, because I feel like I just cover like 2 out of the 3 if I just say Trump.
Elaborate on that. Something more specific about Trump. I know you can get this one.
Probably something to do with democracy.
Nope. I mean, there's some of that, but I wouldn't put that in the top 3.
I'll
give you a hint. He was in court for a while.
He was in court for a while.
You struggling with this? The fact that Trump's a 34-time felon? You really struggle with that one?
Oh, did they just? Oh, okay. Yeah. So, well, I just that. So I'm not in the Democratic circle. I'm a part of just the normal people. The normies walk around every day. Nobody's talking about the felonies. In your day-to-day interactions with everybody, when you talk about politics, nobody talks about Trump's felonies.
Which is a reason why that talking point just isn't going to fucking work or resonate with people that actually vote.
Not even people that actually vote, the people that just actually live normal lives, and they're out.
Yeah, they don't really care.
Scraping together a couple nickels and dimes to just enjoy themselves on the weekend and just working 40 to 60 hours a week. Yeah, no, they don't care about Trump's fucking felonies, because what they care about is their groceries price doubling and gas going up. And that's another thing that pisses me off, because I know that
kitchen table issues, Corey. Kitchen table issues. That's what people care about.
Democrats are just the normal Democratic folk walking amongst us are just as pissed off about that, but they can't say they are because of the fucking dogma. That's what makes me so fucking aggravated.
Second thing, I'll give you a hint on this one. You can get this one. It has a lot to do with women. It's a really easy clue.
Oh, abortion.
Yeah, abortion. That's probably, I'd say that's probably.
By the way, it's about to be on the ballot in Arizona. We have to keep a close eye on that one, because I feel like Arizona is probably also going to vote to approve abortion, or not approve abortion, but like women having rights to reproductive shit, or no, I guess no, right? Just abortion. That's ultimately what's on the ballot. Abortion.
I like the term reproductive shit so much better. And the third one is actually a lot tougher. But it's something that when I tell you, I think you're going to go, oh yeah, that makes a lot of fucking sense. It's this whole like humanization of Kamala Harris. Like she grew up middle class. She's just like you. That whole, celebrities, they're just like us thing.
I'm going to bring up Jay real quick. Old top here.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, he's in the house.
He's one of the OGs.
Or she, again, not gonna assume gender. They, them.
I am going to assume his gender.
Okay.
God damn it.
Jeez.
Yeah, Jesus.
Boy,
right.
I hope he's qualified.
Knock off the E's, and that's J. That's fucking stupid.
So that's actually a big theme throughout the whole thing, not just with Kamala Harris herself, but it's just this whole. We're the Democrats. We're the middle class. We're just like you. Michelle Obama did the whole quote. It's been all over Twitter last night during her speech, talking about how her folks, when she was growing up, her folks were suspicious of people that took more than they needed. Meanwhile, Michelle Obama herself is worth like $70 million fucking dollars. It's just like, get the fuck out of here with that shit. And this is the thing that I think annoys us as former disaffected Democrats. This stupid this game that this party likes to play. It's the thing that makes them so gross, where they'll be like, we're the party of the middle class. We're just like you. But when we get elected, we're just going to help our rich friends on Wall Street, as to where Republicans are gross in that way too. But I don't feel like they play in nearly as much to the we're middle class just like you until very, very, very recently. Like that's what JD Vance is doing.
So yeah,
even though he's a fucking former venture capitalist,
and he fucks couches allegedly.
God damn it, Corey.
Yeah, you thought I forgot that?
Yeah, I thought you forgot.
It's been a week. It's been 2 weeks. You thought I forgot that JD Vance allegedly fucks couches?
That was all you were thinking about when you were on vacation.
These idiots.
No. I was back with my wife after 5 weeks. You think I was? No, the couch is what I thought of before I went to Portland. My wife was gone for 5 weeks.
Oh, yeah.
I wasn't thinking about the couch when I got to Portland.
You just fucked it.
But when my wife was gone for 4 weeks, there was a point in time maybe where I was like, now, how would that work?
That cat's got a pretty mouth.
Couches don't have mouths, you idiot. Like, I'm not going to personify it. It's just a little hole in this side. You know what I mean? Where the two cushions meet.
I couldn't get either of you guys to watch any of this stuff. I had to do all of it myself. In fact, Bell texted.
Because I don't give a shit about this stuff, personally.
Well, it's something that tells you what the Democrats are running on. It shows you where they're going to be. These are things that are important for what we talk about.
I guess you're right. I guess
Bell
I
even
done the homework.
Bell even said he was busy watching Cat in the Hat with his kids when the Democratic National Convention started.
What
at
a
the same
piece
time,
of shit being a dad.
No. By the way, the same time that he's watching Cat in the Hat with his kids.
You're shaving your balls.
I don't know what the hell you're doing.
My
jerking
best.
off a homeless person in Portland somewhere, and those are all very, very different things. And I guess if you spliced,
I was 3 hours behind
together,
you, so it was
really
probably
perverted.
like on the beach or in the mountains.
It would have been 6 o'clock when it started.
I wasn't giving handies in the alley until at least 3 a.m. your time.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's actually kind of early.
Did you at least give a handy to a person? Did you at least give a handy to a person of color?
I couldn't find any. It was Portland.
It's all white people that bitch about racism.
Yeah, like there's just not really a lot of them out there.
So probably the biggest takeaway from at least the first 2 nights of the Democratic National Convention was this, and I recommend everybody go check this out. I threw it in the show notes. If you're a Substack member, you'll be able to read it, especially if you're what's the word I'm looking for? Subscribed to Racket News and Matt Taibbi's publication. But it was all about how the Democratic Party at the convention is using this weird celebration of rights but they're just kind of using it to cover up the expansion of federal authority, which I don't think should be that surprising. But it's the best way to put it, and Matt Taibbi puts it really good in the piece, is that the Democrats seem to be trying to take back the term freedom from the GOP. But when they use that term, they're using it in the way of freedom from versus freedom to. And if you have an IQ over 74, you can understand why freedom from things is very different than freedom to do things or freedom for things. Because
the
freedom from it's an authoritarian trope. It's this idea of freedom from bigotry, freedom from harm,
right?
Things that aren't actually they're not rights. Those aren't rights. Those aren't freedoms. Right. You don't have
those are things that people should not have to experience 100%. But when you try to say freedom from in the position of trying to get to a seat of power, you're saying that the government itself is going to dictate the freedom that you have is from something.
It's going to grow government. It's a way to grow government power.
Whereas freedom 2 is the government saying, we're going to allow this and we're going to step back.
Fuck you. They don't need to allow it.
Right. Well, no, but no, I get that. But that's
I
the
don't
whole
need your permission, government.
I get that, but that's the whole point of freedom too, right? It's them restricting themselves, but freedom from has a sort of parental helicopter type vibe to it.
Yeah,
I'm going to grant you the freedom from this.
Yes. And the only thing that
Whereas you got the freedom to do that.
there's only one thing that the government should be granting us freedom from, and that is
Government
themselves. Yes, that's it. Everything else, it's freedom to do things. It's positive freedom versus negative freedom is the way that Taibbi puts it in the piece. It's quite brilliant. It's a concept that I had heard before, but I really hadn't paid much attention to until I started looking into it after reading Taibbi's piece. And it's really brilliant the way that the way that politicians and people in power and government use this terminology to just sort of start to tweak your framing of how you view things like freedom. It's honestly, dude, it's brilliant. It's brilliant because it actually works. It works on a lot of people. This idea that you have a freedom to safety. You don't have a freedom to safety, as they phrase, a freedom from harm. You don't have a freedom from harm.
Well, that's already covered. Yeah, you don't need a freedom from harm. You have the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And someone causing you harm is infringing on your rights. The government doesn't need to legislate anything more to give you freedom from. Yeah, that it's bigotry and stuff like that. It's kind of not necessarily trivial. It's not the word I want to use because some people actually have to deal with it. But what I'm getting at is the freedom to safety means that there is some sort of restriction.
You don't have a freedom. I mean, I'll be the asshole. I'll say it. Like you don't have a freedom from bigotry. And I think most people that have experienced bigotry in any real way know this. Yeah. This isn't something like that. The guy over there who's being a bigot has the right to be a bigot, as long as they're not
just as much as you do.
100%.
But you're clearly a better person if you're not being a bigot, right?
Right. That guy's an asshole. Like that guy's an absolute asshole and deserves to have his ass beat. But he has the right to call you whatever bigoted name that he wants to. You don't have a freedom to not have to. I mean, you have a freedom to walk away, but you don't have a freedom from him saying that. Freedom to versus freedom from, right?
As someone who has both been the subject of bigotry and being accused of bigotry, I agree.
When the fuck have you ever been the victim of bigotry?
Oh, I almost got beat up because someone thought I was gay. True story.
Oh, okay. But you're not gay. Well,
no, just someone walked in the bathroom that had no stall, or there was a stall, but it was taken, and I was trying to take care of some swamp ass, and he thought I was picking my ass and called me the F word and tried to fight me over it.
That's not bigotry. That's just funny.
No, he literally wanted to beat me up because he thought I was gay, and he didn't want, as I quote, homos in the bathroom fingering themselves.
Ah, okay. You were just trying to take care of some swamp ass, and he thought you were pleasuring your prostate. Is that what he thought?
Yeah, in a bowling alley bathroom. Bowling alley bathroom. I didn't even know that's the place you do it at. But
boy, I hope he's qualified.
Yeah, nope. And then I
miss that.
A gay person. That. Boy, I hope he's qualified. I figured, what, finger popping my own asshole?
Charlie Kirk.
No,
Charlie
but then
Kirk
also, I've had a gay person. I was on one of my just political rants. Or no, not even a political rant. It was just that whole theory of how they think what diverged us from monkeys is that some monkeys just ate some mushrooms at one point, and it created a sort of consciousness, and that's what launched our whole
the stoned ape theory.
Yeah, stoned ape theory. Well, a gay person half heard that conversation and they heard me say homo erectus and then thought I said homo erection and they slapped me. So you got to come hang out with me, Dan. I get into some zany fucking scenarios.
It wasn't. I've hung out with you a few times in these situations, but they didn't even do like a what did you just say? They just slapped you.
They said you don't talk about that. I don't want to hear about that. And then I tried to explain it, and it was loud. I think all they heard was mushrooms, and then I said the word homo erectus, and I think they heard it wrong again.
Corey, I will say this. I've been in scenarios where you're trying to explain yourself, and you
if I'm
really
drunk,
do it. You really do have a propensity to just make it worse.
Thanks, Kamala. You really came in clutch on that one.
You think you just fell out of a coconut tree?
So you might as well have said.
Scenarios, I was the victim, and I don't think that some legislation should be written because of a...
I gotta tell you, that's weak. That's weak bigotry right there. Soft bigotry.
It's soft bigotry.
Soft bigotry of low expectations.
Yeah. It didn't help that I said to him that I can't hit him back because he's gay, but...
Then you also had Jim Clyburn pretending as if and he did start the lockdowns. So like I don't have a problem with anybody who shits on Trump for starting COVID lockdowns because he absolutely did. It's one of the worst things that he did. As far as
it was his inaction
violating our freedoms. Yeah, I mean, well, his sycophants will tell you that he was duped. But dude, you're the fucking president of the United States. Like, figure it out.
He's the smartest businessman in the world, but he was duped.
But Jim Clyburn
put those two together.
Jim Clyburn just completely wanted to wash over the fact that Biden continued these lockdowns for a considerable amount of time. Democratic governors continued these lockdowns for a considerable amount of time. And
not only did Biden allow them to keep and like this is the thing, right? Like Biden actually tried to ease the restrictions, but then he tried to mandate you do something to your body.
I just don't understand why. And Republicans are guilty of this too. We talked about this during the RNC. Right now it's the DNC, so we're shitting on the Democrats a little bit more because they're kind of front and center and in the news. But it's this thing where like both of the leaders of these parties they shit on the other side for all of the wrong things. Like they never shit on them for like the legitimate stuff. It's always the wrong things. And then you ask yourself, why do they do that? Well, the reason that they do that is because if they shit on them for all the right things, they would have to shit on themselves because these two parties are exactly the same. They're only different on the margins.
That's a fact.
I don't want to make anybody mad. Actually, yeah, I want to make some people mad. I really don't care. But the first night you had Jamie Raskin. Is he a rep from Maryland? I think 8th district of Maryland. And he had, I think, maybe the most unhinged speech so far. Shall I play this? Shall we have some fun with this?
Yeah, I haven't seen him.
You haven't seen a good chunk of it. You haven't seen most of it.
Someone should have told Donald Trump.
Wait a minute.
That's the president's job.
Wait a minute. That's not it. Where the hell is it? I had it right in front of me. Here it is. This is the whole speech.
Hello, America.
Hello.
And
hey, bud.
Welcome to the Democracy Convention.
Blech. Blech.
Welcome to the Freedom Convention.
Blech.
So that's that word they're trying to take back.
Thank you for the beautiful weather, Chicago.
Where's he from?
It's been a little rough on Capitol
Maryland.
Hill, where it's not just the
Chicago.
heat, it's the stupidity. Now, we meet in this great city tonight where Abraham Lincoln was nominated in 1860 to save the Union from fanatical insurrectionists, and where Franklin D. Roosevelt was renominated by Democrats in 1940 to defeat fascist dictators.
That's not what he was elected for.
Now,
And pause it real quick.
we fight in
Hold on,
our
give me a second.
time
I
to
gotta find it
defend our
again.
freedom and our democracy against the banana Republicans who have converted.
Okay. Abraham Lincoln was elected. When was he first elected? Was his re-election in 1864?
Yes.
Okay. He was elected before the Civil War started. The Civil War started after he was elected because the Democrats were pissed that a Republican got elected because the Republicans weren't the Whig Party.
Yeah, it started in 1861.
So he wasn't elected.
Yeah, he was.
I mean, he had no shit he was. But he wasn't elected, and people didn't go to the booth to elect him in 1860 to fight whatever he just said. And Roosevelt wasn't elected in when was Roosevelt first elected? He was elected in the 30s. Why did he say the 40s?
Well, because he was president until 1944 when he died.
Sure.
He had 4
because
terms.
he got in the fourth term was because of the war powers. But
no, he was elected 4 times.
I know, but wasn't one of them didn't go through because there was the War Powers Act?
I'm almost positive he was elected 4 times.
Okay. Well, regardless,
I could be wrong.
He was elected damn near a fucking decade before America entered the war.
Yes, he was.
He was elected because of his progressive ideologies and trying to get America back to work and make people not poor anymore. He wasn't elected because of
by the way, jacked up the income taxes of Americans by something like 400 or whatever %.
Yeah.
And he was also a bit of a tyrant. Not the hero that people think he was. Just saying.
No,
that's a really
unpopular
opinion.
I used to be a really big fan of FDR, and some ideas that he had that he put into place were really good. Like the idea of like for real, you know what, the government's, we're here. You guys are all asking for help from the government. So you know what? Here's a shovel, dig this ditch, and we'll give you some cash. Stuff like that. It's
a very similar thing to like the hero treatment that Winston Churchill gets.
Yeah.
It's a little bit unfair because my name's blanking. Chamberlain, the guy before him as Prime Minister of England, he gets shit on because he tried to make peace with Hitler prior to World War II starting. It's like, oh wow, what an asshole. The guy that tried to make a war not start.
Yeah.
It's history's a goofy thing in that way. Who gets to become the hero and who doesn't.
But he just rewrote it, so it doesn't even matter.
More or less.
Lincoln's party into a dangerous cult of personality.
Republicans are dangerous, according to Jamie Raskin.
Well, some are, but so are Democrats.
I'll never forget.
Our Facebook friend isn't going to like that.
Doors of the House
I know. Say they're better.
January 6th, were the screams to follow. Hundreds of our police officers taunted and attacked. 140 of them wounded by extremists wielding baseball bats.
Okay,
so you like police.
So you like cops now? Yep.
Flags. 5 people died that day, and 4 more of our officers took their own lives in the days and weeks to come. All of this after Trump was defeated by more than 7 million votes by the great Joe Biden.
That's not true.
The great Joe Biden. It was way closer than that, wasn't it?
Well, electorally it was. 7 million in the popular vote, sure.
Every ridiculous claim raised by this sore loser who does not know how to take no for an answer from American voters, American courts,
or women.
Or American women.
I called that one.
Well, it's like this is just so unhinged. Like this is how you know he's speaking to a bunch of SEALs that are going to clap for him anyway. Nobody gives a shit about January 6th except your base. This is what both of these idiotic parties do. They sit there and they try and harden their base. That's all they do. Nick Gillespie made this point on the Reason Roundtable earlier this week. He's like, it just doesn't make any fucking sense to me. Your base is already rock hard. Your base is as hard as Corey's dick when he looks at a couch while his wife's on vacation. That is how hardened these bases are. Like, when do you get to the point?
Yeah, but what was that couch wearing, Dan?
Well, that's fair. Yeah, that is a fair question. Let me go ask Andrew Tate what he thinks about how much that matters. That was a bad joke, sorry. But your base is already so hardened to the point where, like, it's like, who are you even talking to besides the SEALs and the sycophants that are already going to be clapping for you anyway? And both fucking parties do this stuff. Like, when do you get to the point where it's like, let's grab the normies that are just barely on the other side of the aisle and maybe actually try to win an election? It's gotten to a point where it's gotten to be such nonsense. It makes no sense to me.
Well, it goes back to why the Democrats love Trump. They don't have to talk about policy. It's just low hanging fruit.
That's a good point.
He's just really easy to fucking attack.
That's very true.
Because he makes it really fucking easy because Trump's a shitty person.
Remember what the mob chanted as they stormed the Capitol and injured our officers?
No, but you'll tell us.
Yep.
Hang Mike Pence.
I don't think they
Someone
chanted
should have
it. They just
Trump
put up a fucking gallows.
Under Article 2.
Oh, they
of the
did. They chanted it.
Constitution.
What? Even if they didn't, a gallows way worse.
Someone should have told Donald Trump that the president's job,
Did you just have a
under
stroke?
Article 2 of the Constitution, is to take care that the laws are faithfully executed, not that the vice president is executed.
Oh! Wow!
He really thought that one would get more applause.
Pence
What
has
a
now
burn!
joined more than two
man.
dozen
He
officials
spent a lot of hours on that
from
one.
Donald Trump's
Yes, he
own
did.
administration in denouncing him, an historical record. And Pence is the first vice president in more than 2 centuries not to support the president he served with in a general election.
So wait a minute. What does this mean that Democrats now
Mike
love
Pence.
Mike Pence?
Oh, okay. So don't play it yet because I had a prediction I mentioned earlier. I didn't get to say it. I think Mitch McConnell is going to become the next darling of the left or of the liberals. Because he's out.
Like in a phony way, like Mike Pence is, or
Yeah. Here's why. McConnell is also a very vindictive, revengeful
and not the left,
type of
Corey. By the way,
person.
not the left, not the
liberals,
left, the
liberals,
Democrats.
The Democrats.
The Democrats. Okay. Those are 3 different things. All 3 of those things are different entities.
No, you're right. You're right. But I feel like Mitch is not going to play so well, and we're going to see regular Mitch from Mitch to the Trump administration because Mitch holds grudges, and he's out in 2026, and Trump has gone after him pretty fucking hard. And even though Mitch is very unpopular with the populace and everything, he is the equivalent to Pelosi, but on the right. And he knows how to pull strings and make things happen behind the scenes. And I really think he's going to put personal grudges over party. Or really try to say it is party, but it's not Trump's party.
So I think I see what you're saying. I don't follow 100%, but I think I get the gist of it. It's going to be like what Jamie Raskin is saying here about Mike Pence, or maybe even a better example is how Democrats feel about George W. Bush right now, because George W. Bush is anti-Trump.
Yeah,
like the guy who lied us into war, the guy who fucked the economy.
All of a sudden, you're going to see, wow, Mitch McConnell's finally making sense, or wow, look at Mitch McConnell loving the country. that kind of shit. Just like we did with Pence.
Putting country over party.
Yeah.
Oh, goddamn. My headphones just died, buddy. Hang on. I got to find a way to get back to you. Give me a second.
Okay. Well,
I can keep playing Jamie Raskin if you want. Just give me a thumbs up.
You can't hear me? What if I give you a thumbs down like this? Now you're really fucked up because you have no
I just saw the
fucking
thumbs
idea
down. I can't hear shit.
saying.
Give me a second. I got to change my settings.
For anyone not listening right now, the show is completely fine because Dan can't hear shit that I'm saying because his headphones died. This is what Bluetooth headphones get you, folks. This is what happens when you use child labor.
I can hear you now. I can hear you now. I don't know if you can hear an echo of yourself, but whatever. We're going to have to live with it. Cool.
I was making a joke about how I'm going to say thumbs down because he can't hear me.
I'm going to keep playing Jamie Raskin.
All right, go ahead.
And by the way, J.D. Vance, do you understand why there was a sudden job opening for running mate on the GOP ticket? They tried to kill your predecessor. They tried to kill him because he would not follow Trump's plan to destroy and nullify the votes of millions of Americans. Your votes, Pennsylvania. Your votes, Michigan.
Okay, so up until
votes,
January
Georgia,
6th, pause it real quick.
Nevada.
Yeah.
Okay, because up until January 6th, when shit went really fucking wild, and I think we can all agree shit went crazy. Were the insurrectionists? No, probably not. But shit went a little fucking haywire there. Contesting votes and going through all the legal avenues isn't anything new. Al Gore did the same fucking thing.
Yeah,
Stacey Abrams has yet to concede.
So that's an interesting point.
More
right?
Democrats have not conceded than Republicans.
So
now, did his supporters, with even it's arguable, with his egging, not treat the game fairly and then try to take their ball home? Say, I'm not playing anymore and take my ball home in a way of putting up a fucking gallows and storming some fucking doors. Yeah, sure. But it's still what he did up to that point wasn't illegal and it wasn't insane.
So here's the thing.
Was the hyperbole around it and all of the eccentricism that Trump carries with him everywhere happening? 100%. Did they make a fucking clown show of it? 100%. But Trump contesting the votes and trying to go through every avenue to challenge it because he lost isn't anything new.
No, it's not. There is one. So Al Gore did it. It was done. It was done even before that. John Kerry did it again afterwards in 2004. Yep. There's a key difference. And I'm gonna defend, or I guess I'm gonna defend the critique of Trump and the stop the steal in this way, which is that Trump did a couple of things that had never been done before. The first thing is that he was setting up months before the election that this election was going to be stolen. Nobody had done that before. That was a new
virtually
precedent.
Premeditated to cover his own ass because he's a narcissistic asshole.
The second thing is that in 2000 and 2004, it was about voter machines. It was about hacked voter machines. With Trump, it was about a giant cabal of voter fraud. So there were a couple things that were a little bit different that made Trump's claims a little bit more unhinged. I will openly admit that, and we make fun of it as we should.
Oh yeah,
because it's fucking ridiculous. But I'm not going to play the rest of Jamie Raskin because honestly, you can hear it, and I'm happy you guys can hear it, but I'm having a hard time hearing it. But what I will say this, one thing that he says at the end, after all of this stop the steal stuff, and you guys, I'll leave you guys hanging. You guys can go back and finish and listen to the rest of the Jamie Raskin speech. The thing that makes this so unhinged is he went through all of this stuff about shitting on Trump for claiming that the election was stolen, and he finishes his speech by calling on Trump's quote-unquote kangaroo Supreme Court to not steal this election. What the fuck,
insane. Dude, the Supreme Court is it's so fucking stupid. The kangaroo court. You know, it's so funny because people try to like split the court up into like 5-4, 4-5, but it's really like 3-3 and 3.
If people actually,
because like look at Gorsuch, we're not even big fans of Gorsuch.
No.
Anytime it comes to something that criminal, he always sides with the liberals.
Right. If
Kavanaugh and Barrett both are like moderates. Roberts is absolutely a moderate. And then you got like two or three more, like I think, and then like obviously you have the far right ones like a Thomas or a Alito.
Right.
Then you got Ketanji Brown Jackson, and then who's the guy? I forget his name. No, the guy is the one that got replaced by her.
Well, there's Sotomayor and Kagan.
Sotomayor and Kagan, yeah. And it's like it really is. It's pretty split up pretty well. Unfortunately, they all agree with corporations over people.
And this is how you know that these people are just a bunch of seals that will clap for whoever comes on the stage. If you actually go and looked into Supreme Court rulings, even the recent ones where it has been a vast majority for the conservatives, and we've talked about it on this show a multitude of times. We invite you to go back and listen to old episodes. The amount of times that the conservative justices have sided with the liberals and gotten the liberal decision is. You would be if you're a Democratic supporter, you would be astounded by how many times this happened. The thing is, nobody pays attention to 99% of Supreme Court cases because there's stuff that isn't sexy, that people don't actually pay attention to. Like the only time they pay attention to the Supreme Court is when abortion comes up. That's pretty much it. I mean, honestly, is there
and then on the other hand, when things actually come out and people get super upset about it because the media spins it in a way, like for example, presidential immunity. No, they narrowed the scope of private versus public actions. Now we have a definitive thing. Things that Trump did that he hasn't been charged for, or things that they're all saying, oh, it's going to protect Trump. He hasn't been tried for them. Calling the Georgia office asking for 2,000 votes is probably a private action. You know what I mean? Project 2025, Trump's plan 47 or whatever. All of these things everyone's freaking out about, based on our Supreme Court's historical choices of separating powers and keeping the powers equal and doing all these different things. Like most of those things wouldn't be tried in the court system. I mean, most of those things wouldn't pass. And on top of that, everyone's acting like they're blindsided by Project 2025 when you know that there's probably 100 different firms out there dissecting it already, creating a case against it for rights because they know that when it lands, they could take that court and then immediately there's going to be funding and everything for it. You know what I mean? Like it's just,
Corey, it's honestly the whole Project 2025 thing, which to the Democratic National Convention's credit has only been mentioned a couple of times throughout the speeches, at least so
because
far.
They know it's not landing either. It landed with a couple
and
people.
Here's why.
For fear mongering.
Here's why. Because Project 2025, for the most part, it has this like big scary name, right? Which is done intentionally. If you really pick through it, it's nothing more. Mostly, there's some quirky stuff in there. Don't get me wrong, but it's stuff that won't happen. But the stuff that actually has a chance to happen is stuff that's just like general conservative policy, and has been for decades. It's like, oh my God, conservatives are going to do conservative things if they have power. I'm so surprised. Like, our democracy is over. You know what I mean? Because conservatives are doing conservative shit. And that's another example of why politics is just WWE.
We're going to have to cut this one short, Dan.
No, it's fair. I honestly, we probably have to get out of here soon. We could probably do a couple closing statements. But what I was going to say about Hillary, I'm glad Ready Player J brought up Nancy Pelosi's fabulous tits, because there was actually a comment that I was going to make and I almost forgot. So thank you for reminding me, Ready Player J, which was that when Hillary made her speech,
it's Old Top. Just call him Old Top.
Old Top, sorry. When Hillary made her speech on Monday night, I looked at her and I went, believe me, this isn't going where you think it is. I didn't think she was attractive, but I looked at Hillary and I went, did Hillary lose? Did she lose a little bit of weight? And I was texting with my buddy, like, did Hillary looks a little bit less bloated? And I had to be like, I mean, don't get me wrong, she's no Nancy Pelosi, but for Hillary Clinton, she looked good. I mean, I had to throw that out there. By the way, Ashley Biden's kind of hot too. She's younger. What is Ashley Biden in like her 40s? She's younger than Hunter. She's Jill's kid, so she's a little bit younger. She's an attractive girl.
I'm gonna have to look her up because I don't know what she looks like. Ashley Biden,
or either that, or she just looked good because she was done up by the makeup artists there at the DNC. And they're the ones out there putting the makeup on all the trans kids. So I'm kidding. Jesus Christ! Everybody, calm the fuck down. People get so mad.
No, she's pretty.
All right, I gotta go charge my headphones.
She's pretty in a grunge way,
in like a grimy way. Like she likes butt
grunge.
Stuff, or like what
grunge and grime are two very different things. She's pretty in the way that she looks naturally pretty, I guess is the words I would use.
Okay, so not like a butt stuff kind of way. Okay.
Not like unapproachable pretty.
Okay, fair enough.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
I just thought
I just thought you were being a misogynist and calling her a whore for a minute.
No. Grungy. Like she looks like like when she's not up on stage in her blazers and suits, she's probably wearing flannel and listening.
They insult us in an attempt to gaslight us, and we will not stand for it.
That's what she just looks like. I don't know her music taste or her clothing style. But
anyway, why don't you tell the people where they can find her?
It's not one that I would immediately be like, oh, I have a wife.
You are not. So in other words, what you're saying is you will not be going to your wife tomorrow and being like, hey, babe, I found myself a new hall pass. It's Ashley Biden.
No, I don't get a hall pass, but I also feel like every woman is attracted to me. So
you haven't had that discussion with your wife, the hall pass discussion?
No, Dan, we're adults.
Seriously? What's not adult about that?
Hey, babe, by some off chance that Jessica Alba just spreads her legs for me, I get to fuck her, right?
Yeah, that's a perfectly reasonable discussion for two grown adults to have.
You know what my wife would say? Yeah, Corey, if Jessica Alba showed up and spread her legs, you could fuck her.
But she gets to watch.
Maybe. I don't know.
Well, for your sake, Corey, I hope Jessica Alba never spreads her legs in front of you, because you will have no clue what to do. You'll be lost.
Are you kidding me? When you now say, okay, so now, now you're doubting my acrobatic skills in the bedroom. I'm a trapeze.
No. I'm saying you won't.
When it comes to artistry,
Corey, because you haven't had the hall pass discussion, you won't be able to. You'll have a really tough decision to make. So if you just had the discussion with your wife and that scenario ever comes about, it's an easy decision. That's all I mean.
I'll just tell her 1 second. Let me text my wife. And then
Talk about adult discussions.
Dan, I have a kid.
Oh yeah, because that stopped you from being a child before.
No. Me and my wife had a very different relationship.
Okay. You don't have to elaborate.
Wow, that actually sounded very ambiguous. I don't like that. We are in a monogamous relationship. Libservative Podcast is found on all social media podcast platforms. Our website is libservativeshow.com. We can find us on Libservative. We can be found at Libservative on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Instagram and Twitter, Libservative Pod. Our TikTok videos can be found at Libservative Podcast, and you can reach out directly at libservativepod@gmail.com. Subscribe today.
Don't forget to check out the comments on our Facebook posts.
Yeah. And I also want to say that, like, no, we never had the hall pass discussion, because I feel like if there was one that was in that unique scenario to where it would happen, my wife would just understand.
Okay, so it's just implied.
I suppose so, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and because I didn't narrow my scope to just one person, now I can bang any celebrity I want, Dan. You're the one that fucked up. By choosing one.
I don't know. Some teachers will give you multiple hall passes throughout the semester. So maybe, you got the same thing going on here.
I have a prostate problem. They're like, you're 8 years old.
Oh, he as always has been Corey Walsh.
And they're like, yeah, that makes sense. All right, yeah, and he's been Dan Griffin.
This has been Libservative Intellectual Idiots Fostering Political and Cultural Literacy. And until next time, we are out of here.
Peace.